know we talked about this briefly before we started recording.
Yep.
NCAA, they kind of earlier in the week decided to propose a new rule change, taking face-offs and limiting it to be neutral grip and as well as stand-up and no knee down. So that pretty much erases the knee down motorcycle grip type thing. Can you talk about that a little bit and kind of talk about your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, my thoughts are obviously kind of biased. I'm speaking from the heart as a face-off guy and how I feel the rules has affected the position and the game. If they were looking to speed up the face-off, don't think they were successful. If you watch, so I broke down some film for hopefully the rules committee if they get it. Two guys, and face-off guys are a stubborn group. If the guy has a little bit more than us, we're going to stay in there. We're not just going to stand up and let him try to exit with the ball, especially when you're underhand grip. You don't have that leverage to rip down through the face-off. So if you're looking for tie-ups that don't last as long, going underhand neutral grip isn't going to get that done. Also, it's a health and safety concern. I spoke to a ton of PT and doctors about what kind of damage this would do to your wrist, elbow, and shoulder. All of these people said that it's extremely dangerous and it's a more unnatural position and clamping style. So what you're at risk for wrist injuries, elbow injuries, and shoulder injuries, more so as if you were going knee down motorcycle grip. All right. Another point I have for the health and safety issue is that it eliminates the beauty of the exit. So if you're just stand up, there's only really two places, especially if you're not allowed to withhold and clamp and pivot. There are only two places the ball could go. It's either going to your top left or right behind you through the legs. Okay. And if you're a wing guy and the other face-off guy is on his feet and is able to keep that ball on the ground, the other face-off guy's head's going to be down with people running full speed. All right. That causes a concern for tons of concussions and blindside hits. All right. Yeah, that's exciting to watch in the game, but I think we're trying to protect the players as well. Another point that I would have is that when players are knee down, they're in a vulnerable position. And what makes the face-off game so unique is that the ability to get off a knee fast creates that separation from your opponent to keep you safe. If a guy is staying on his feet, he's going to be able to match feet, match hands, keep the ball on the ground, keep your head down longer, and keep you in a vulnerable position. I think personally the NCAA Rules Committee has to reconsider, has to call in, some real technical face-off gurus that could help them with a plan. We understand that, people don't want to watch a 40-second tie-up, but how many of those are there a year? One or two, maybe. We understand that people say that the position is too specialized. Well, the goalie position is way more specialized and broken down and breaking down angles and stepping to the ball. So, we're not eradicating the goalie position. And then the other point is that face-off guys knee down, like I said before, are not in that vulnerable position. So, they're also going down, putting less pressure on their backs, their legs. To stand up for 20 seconds before the face-off is even set to go and be down in that set stance is going to cause for way more false starts, which in turn leads to way more teams getting penalties. All right. It's hard to stay balanced and keep yourself steady when you're in that standing position to the point where you're not going to tip over the line or you're not going to start to lean back. Any body motion like that needs to be called by the referees as a procedure, and it'll make the game way harder to referee. They have this cut and dry PLL face-off that is a great model where there's a stencil there. It takes the refereeing out of the game. All you have to do is blow the whistle and watch if the guy's moving or not. I don't understand this, especially at this point in time with everything going on. I don't necessarily understand the move. I get what they were trying to do. Do I think they solved their problem? Absolutely not. I'm going to continue to fight to try to make these rules get overturned because I'm fighting for the guys that have been knee down practicing for, 10 plus years and, have scholarships to go to schools and are expected to compete at the next level. So that's what my fight is for. I want to help you guys, especially other people kind of told you guys how to feel. Just get over it, adapt. We got this. And like, we're human beings. We have feelings. We're not just going to be able to adapt and throw everything out. I mean, I would be extremely pissed off if I worked on something for 10 years and I handed it to somebody and they say, no, you can't use this anymore. Like, anyone would be frustrated with that. So I feel the face-off community's frustration. We are fighting for you, and we're here to help. If you have any questions or concerns or any good points, bring them to us. If we like them, we'll bring them to the committee.
Definitely. So to play a little bit of a devil's advocate, personally, as a face-off guy, I definitely mix up with the knee down and the stand up, and that's just something that I've done personally. But I know a ton of guys that don't. Do you ever stand up when you face off? I've kind of watching you for a bit. You've been more of a knee down guy, I would say, almost 90%.
Yeah. So since I got to the pros, I've only taken knee down. But growing up in high school and college, I stood up. I was stand up motorcycle grip. So I noticed the toll my body was taking from all these stand-up face-off reps. By the end of one of Shami's clinics when I was in high school, I would be battered, bruised. My back would be killing me. People are diving headfirst into my knee to try to make sure I couldn't exit. That's another thing. People are going to dive across that line and try to take out your legs. There goes your ACL, MCL, meniscus. It's the same thing as getting rolled up on and as a lineman in football. It's gonna destroy you. So like, I wasn't able to stay healthy while training as much because I was standing up, and because I would take 100 face-offs, and by the end I was hunched over, and then I have one side of my back that's way tighter than the other, and that causes my hamstring to go. There's a million different points when it comes to the injury standpoint and the face-off position, especially with this new proposed rule change.
And if you could kind of change it, would you prefer going with something like the PLL style, like you said previously, or just a maintaining of what the rules had previously been?
I mean, it could use a change. There is dominance throughout the college ranks, and if they want to fair that up, all right, the wings need to come in. I'm with the PLL rules. I love them. I didn't have as much dominance as I had because I had to adjust to these rules. And clamp percentage and face-off percentage didn't really match up. So that's the interesting part to look at. If you want to take the dominance out of the sport, the dominant players are still going to be dominant. Let's be honest. Like, the guys that outwork everybody are still going to be the best. But if we move these wings in, we have a stenciled outline for what the face-off's going to be. The ball's in the same spot every time. Can't complain about the officiating anymore because there's really no officiating to be done. As long as the official is consistent with the whistle and the sticks being straight up and down, nobody's cheating. The rules are cut and dry. I also think that moving the wings in keeps it on the ground more. It's more of a 50-50. If you could tie somebody up for a half a second, the wings are already on top of you. So, instead of guys getting the ball out faster and getting railroaded, so to say, getting the ball out faster, and then I just don't see how that change makes sense. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
I think if they want to make it more fair, which I think is really what they're trying to get at, this is the way.
Definitely. And kind